Hey all, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. And thanks for joining the webinar and the first class, we can say. It's a combination of both, giving you the introduction about what is our course and how we have organized this and how we are going to practice all those things. We are going to see this one, right? So let me share my screen first, right? So the first fundamental thing, right? What we are learning. So as a part of this course, we are targeting Power BI, Microsoft Power BI, Business Intelligence Tool, right? And PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL is a database. Along with these two, we are also covering fundamentals of data warehousing, right? So this is our target goal, or we can say the objective of our course. Now, the question comes why we need to go for the Power BI tool. So for this one, let me show you a image, a picture, right? Now, if you see here, data to insights journey. In the current world, right, almost every organization from smaller to medium and large organization, everyone using technology to make sure their day-to-day activities are captured and they are analyzed and come to a decisions. So in this process, there is a huge amount of data is being created. So earlier we used to talk about GBs of data. Now it is like terabytes, petabytes, right? So the data size is increasing day by day. Now industry really need a skilled people. Why I'm saying this word, please note down. I mean, industry need the skilled people or skilled workforce who can handle their data and present it in a visualization form, right? So in this journey, data to insight journey, right? There are a lot of technologies are being used, right? And accordingly, there is a demand for all those technologies. Now, my honest answer is that we really don't need to be learning all those technologies. Learn one technology and make sure we are SME, subject matter expert, or we are expert in that particular tool, right? And just have the awareness of other tools. This is the simple motto of our course. That is the reason we just have this course as a combination of data warehousing, PostgreSQL, and Power BI. And our major target is to achieve all the required skill set for Power BI, right? And complete the certification. It's a PL 300, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst. Along with that one, we are going to understand and we are to go and get a decent knowledge about the PostgreSQL, which is one of the database and the underlying data warehouse concepts. This is very, very important, right? So in the journey, we are focusing on the right side part. That is our aim. But at the same time, what is the source of our Power BI is this data factory where data comes on generating day by day and kept in the databases, files, or cloud. Apologies, all these things, right? So in this journey from left to right side, so our main focus is with the Power BI. Now, why Power BI? So in the market for the visualization tools, right? We also call them business intelligence tool or visualization tools. The market leaders are Tableau and Power BI. Now Tableau is a completely a different software and it is looks like something complicated. Whereas Microsoft Power BI is a Microsoft Office product and the user interface, right? And the options those are provided are almost looks like Microsoft Office tools like Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint presentation, right? And the good thing is it is easy to learn quickly, right? And we can easily start working on it, right? If I just show you Power BI, let me show you this one and a comparison. What do I want to show with Excel? Now, I hope many of you has seen Excel, right? And if you see here, the user interface, we have different options and those are grouped by different tabs, right? Suppose if you want to insert any charts, we have different charts are there in the Microsoft Excel. Similarly, in the Power BI also, if you see here on the top, you would be having a similar options are grouped and they are used, right? So for the students who has the exposure to Microsoft Word, Excel and PowerPoint tools, Power BI is not at all a new tool. It's a tool, it's a kind of a next level for what they already working on it, right? That is the first interesting thing with the Power BI. And it is easy to learn and there is a among us huge number of opportunities are there, right? And what a Power BI developer or data analyst, our goal is to make these data sitting in different places to get all those together and create a visualization reports. Right? So this is our objective, converting data to meaningful insights. Those can be used by business leaders or operations team and take the decisions for the business growth, right? And another interesting thing is these visualization which we are going to create, right? We are going to create for all levels, for leadership team, for operational teams, for educational purpose. So one advantage is that we have a chance to closely work with the business leaders or top management. So in this way also, the career growth is very, I mean, we have a good career growth in this one, right? Now, when I split these particular end-to-end flow, what are the different technologies available in the market, right? Let me show you that one. If you see here, just the earlier one, we have seen a data flow diagram, right? And in this diagram, we are seeing what are the different stages and what kind of tools are being used, right? When you say operational data, all the activities or observations, those are captured in the operational systems. That means, suppose if you gone to the any bank and you have done some transaction, that is one activity. Suppose if you gone to the bank and update your address, right? That is another activity. So all these activities would be captured in SQL databases, Cosmos DB, and these are all different databases or some kind of event hubs to capture the real-time data. And these operational data is ingested into the analytical systems. And I hope you heard a Azure Data Factory, Azure Stream Analytics. So these are different services being provided by IT companies. And further, these data that is ingested into the warehouse, those are used for analytical and data storing process, right? And these are different tools, Databricks, Azure. And if you see on the right side for data modeling and visualization, so we are using our Power BI, right? And many student has doubts. Hey, in the market, there are a lot of names we are hearing. Do I need to learn all the things? Is my honest answer is you pick anyone which you are close to your heart. Some people are good in analytics, some people are good in visualization, right? Some people are good in presentation, right? and some people are good in organizing the data. So whoever close to their heart, let us pick that tool and be the SME, and definitely opportunities will follow us. No doubt about it, right? Now, as a part of our course, our focus is with the data modeling and visualization. This is what we are going to target with the help of Microsoft Power BI tool, right? Now, along with learning this one, we are also going to touch base learning about the SQL structured query language with the help of Postgres SQL database. It's an open source tool. Open source means it's the free of cost. We don't need to pay anything for using that software, and installation of that software is also very easy. I'm going to help you to learn how to install a database and how to install Power BI. Installation is straightforward, nothing to be worried, right? So this is our journey. Our main objective is to learn data modeling and visualization tool, Power BI. Along with that one, we are going to learn about the a data warehouse and SQL server, right? And if you see the way we structured this course is the 10%, that means one class for data warehousing, okay? And 30% of our course, I can say 35% would be Postgres SQL, around 4 classes. And rest of the 11, 10 classes, we would be having Power BI, right? You can say like Power BI is our major subject and rest two are like a minor subject that is supporting our major subject. And daily we are going to have 1 hour class followed by assignments review, right? And I normally start the class, open the class before 15 minutes itself, so that we can have a one-to-one connect and we can have a discussion on your doubts or queries, anything, right? As and when class completed, I'm going to send you the assignment along with the class recording, right? One interesting thing in our batch is the all our recordings I'm going to upload in the YouTube, right? Let me show you one sample mail here. So once class is completed, the standard approach I am following is class number and the topic that we covered in the class and the batch along with the month of the batch. So this is going to have your class recording, right? And this is a YouTube link, access to all the registered students, right? And the main purpose of putting our classes in the YouTube link is so that you can watch this one everywhere while you're traveling to office or while you're traveling to home, or if you have, I mean, if you're doing anything cooking, so that you can put your headset and listen and you can have a notepad and note down the points, right? And my honest answer is, along with the class, we should be having at least one revision before coming to the next class, right? I think I have seen. Okay, mail ID. Thanks, Ola. I will capture this. Ola, you can also send your reference to it. And, okay, you can send your phone number also. Thank you. So this is YouTube link. Along with, I'm going to provide you the some important links, right? Because if you see, uh, whenever a particular tool or topic we are learning, we would be having hundreds of pages of documentation, correct? And we are not sure from where to start. So I just make sure hand pick of articles are picked up, right? And I want your support to go through these articles and complete the some basic assignment, right? A basic assignment to know that how much you have learned in today's class, right? When we reconnected in the next class, so we will have a walkthrough of the previous class and we also talk about what we learned and what would be the next thing we should do, right? This is about the class, and to be honest, many students have a doubt: do I need to have a IT background? What I feel is that, I mean, myself and Lakshmi, when we discussed it and we started preparing this course, our main thought is we should be connecting from the basics, starting from the basics and to the intermediate level. Okay. And also, I mean, and the student that who are going to join our I mean, first criteria is they would be new to the IT world, right? So you should be having a Windows laptop. That is the minimum requirement, guys. And why I'm saying this one is because we are explaining everything on Windows laptop. So it would be comfortable for you. And Power BI is also available on Windows laptop only. Okay. So you just need to have a Windows laptop and basic understanding about the Microsoft Excel, Word, PowerPoint is going to help you. Even the SQL or database thing which we learn, I'm starting with the basics and we will go to the intermediate level because we want to crack the job, right? So that is the reason, right? So that is about the course. And we are going to have around 15 classes daily 1 hour. And it is Monday to Friday for the US region and s- Tuesday to Saturday for Australia, India, and Europe region. Okay, just stick to your local time zone based on the Google Calendar that we are having. Uh, this is all about the course, right? And when we are coming an end to the course, that we would be focusing on two things: certification, resume preparation, and the interview guidance. So these would be followed after the course, right? Because based on the students' practice, if you are on track, then immediately I am going to start working on the certification also. And the certification that we are going to target is Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate, right? Who are from the non-IT background, even from IT background also, since we want to get into the new technology, so having certification will be more advantage for us, right? And if you see what is the level it is covering is intermediate. And this is my honest answer that the interviewer or recruiter should feel that, okay, we are capable at the intermediate level to crack a job, right? And there are a lot of practice preppers out there, and I'm going to connect with you after the course to have the regular progress. And in parallel, along with the certification, I mean, if we are ready, then we would be focusing on the interviews, resume preparation, and interview guidance. So we hack organization or is having a dedicated team sitting in India who helps in managing your LinkedIn profile or creating your resume or publishing, I mean, helping you in applying jobs also. Okay. So we can connect. Uh, this particular certification costs around $165. Okay, that is it. I mean, when you are ready, say this $165 goes to the Microsoft Office, Microsoft company itself, right? Any questions or doubts with respect to certification? Queen, yes, we will be having an issues with Mac. The reason is one thing is Power BI, I mean, is not compatible with Mac. And second thing is the user interface of Mac is completely different. So what you see in the class, I mean, while you are practicing, it would be completely different. And since you are at the early stage of learning, I would request you to try to borrow a Windows laptop from your friends or family for practice. Okay. Now coming to the opportunities for Power BI, just I am searching in the Google. Let me show you. Power BI. So if you see just with the basic search, we are having around 27,000 plus jobs. Let's see how much actually. It is United Kingdom. It has opened. Let me check with UK, United States. See, in United States alone, we have 12,000 jobs just when we search it, right? And these are specifically for the Power BI or data analyst roles or business intelligently tools, right? And if I go further drill down, let me just pick some entry level or associate, like looking for junior business analyst, work from home to contact, 0 to 3 years business analyst. This is a business analyst, or let me search with again Power BI developer. Yeah. See, MSSPA, Power BI, SQL. So normally they ask for the SQL as a basic thing. That is the reason we are also covering SQL. And the salary range is around 9,500, 95,000 to 100K a year, right? Similarly, Power BI Developer, NATO bot. So design and develop interactive reports, dashboards, and data visualization using Power BI. Optimize Power BI model to perform scalability and usability. Implement DAX and Power Query transformation process. Collaborate with business gathering, right? And if you see here, further we can go and you will be seeing more details about the openings, right? So opportunities wise, there are huge number of opportunities are there. There is no doubt about it. It's just about we need to learn it to the full extent, and we are proving that yes, we are the right person for the job. See, Tableau or BA developer, MS Fabric or Power BI developer. There is a good number of opportunities are lined up. I mean, first question comes, how the opportunities are there. Sorry, guys. It's about we making ourselves the right fit for the job profile. And many students has a doubt. If I complete this 15 days course, am I going to land in the job? I'm giving a honest answer. No. I mean, just 15 days is not enough. Within these 15 days, we need to do have a consistent practice. We need to complete our assignments and we are good to be ready with the certification also, right? So that is the reason, I mean, our journey is not going to just end up with the 15 days. After 15 days, again, we need to regularly connect and make sure how the assignments you are progressing, right? And also review how much you are able to complete for the certification and apply for the jobs, right? So this is my way of working with all the students, and definitely there is a good success ratio also is there. Okay. And when it comes to the topic that we are covering, right? Uh, just giving you at a high level, like data warehouse concepts, PostgreSQL installations, right? DDL, DML means these are like SQL, data definition language and data manipulation language. And we are going to learn about the SQL queries, followed by Power BI installation, Power Query, pivot, visualization, and publishing, right? So these are all the topics that we are going to cover in our 15 days course, right? And followed by again revision with the help of the class recording, right? Class recordings will be available within 15 to 20 minutes after the class completion. Okay, along with your assignment mail. And also, as I told you, right, we are going to send the meeting summary, right? If you see, this is a meeting summary that is generated by artificial intelligence, Zoom AI comparison, right? And it's going, what is the next steps? What is the summary we covered? All these things, data warehousing, normalization, whatever the topics we covered in a one single email, right? So I would request you to make sure you have your labeling, right? With a training or Power BI, whatever comfortable, all the mails that you are receiving from me, so that you can quickly go to that labeling and you can refer them. Okay. One thing which students face is that, I mean, you would be receiving my mails, along with you would be receiving a lot of mails, right? And these our important mails may go into the at the last of the list, right? In the bottom of the list. So as and when you got the mail from me, just label them with a course training, Power BI, or whatever that comes in your mind quickly, so that you can recall, and just filter with the label so that you can have all the mails from me at one place. Okay. So I'm just going to take a small pause here and open up for the questions. Let me open up, stop sharing. Okay, we are back. Hey all, I hope you are able to see my screen and I'm audible with clear. So let us see our first class. So as we discussed it just couple of minutes before, right? Our first class is going to be about data warehouse concepts, followed by understanding about the PostgreSQL database and learning basics about the SQL, because it's a universal language for the databases, right? And we would be jumping into our Power BI from the second week, right? It's like we are slowly taking off and going to fly. That's what how. And we are going to cover all key topics from the Power BI. Those are required for to land into a job. No doubt about it. Even we are covering some artificial intelligence visuals, AI generated things, right? All those things we are going to see. Now, how many of you know about Newton laws? How many of you know Newton laws? Yeah, thank you very much. And do you know when those are, I mean, what we call it as invented, huh? When Newton has proposed those laws? I think in 18th century or 19th century, correct? If I am not wrong, maybe you can raise. Logan, you can post it in the Teams channel, okay? Whatever the your queries or whatever it may be, right? So why I'm saying Newton laws is here, we know, right? Newton's law, third law. Every force has equal and opposite reaction. And with the technology evolving today, we have rockets, and if you see, we talk about fighter jets, space shuttles, whatever it may be. But this law never ever changed. Whatever the new things those are being built in space, astronomy, or in the defense sectors and everything, this law never changed. Okay. The way they are implementing this law is different. Someone is using some fighter jet, someone is using spacecrafts, right? Or someone is using in the industrials everywhere. But the fundamentals are not going to change. The basics are not going to change. Oh, thank you very much. Who has posted it? Okay, Chiyomi. Thank you very much. Okay, 17th century. And we are in 21st century, right? Similarly, many people feel that, okay, data warehousing is an old concept. Now we are learning machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these things. But again, all these things are built on top of these data warehouse concepts, right? In a simple nutshell, what I want to say is we all are having business running around us, which are capturing huge amount of data, right? And business has the requirement to store that data. Either it can be a government regulatory that they need to maintain this data for a certain period of time, and that is going to be a burden for them because they need to keep lot of computers, servers, hard disk to maintain that data. At the same time, they realized that this is not a burden, that is going to be an asset also when we are properly using it within the data regulations. So this thought process has come or invented this data warehousing concepts, right? Or data analytics, data mining. So if you heard these words, data analytics, data mining, right? Like how we mine a gold mine, right? We do gold mining or coal mining to get the gold or coal, which would be used for business purpose. Similarly, we do the data mining. So if we are using some machine learning tools, artificial intelligence, we call it as a data mining. Similarly, if we are using the Power BI tools, then we call it as data analysis. But the ultimate goal is we want to know how our business is going, how the customer behavior is there, right? So when we are analyzing the data that is related to the customers' purchasing power, all those things, then we call it as a analyzing customer behavior, right? Similarly, if you take a weather forecasting organization, right? They put lot of sensors across the country and they capture the data. And our Power BI tool, Tableau tools, or some data mining tools, they analyze the data to understand the weather patterns, right? But the ultimate goal is to know what has happened in the past and what can happen in the future, right? Because no one is going to predict the future, right? Accurately. If we know that one, then we can build our own empires, right? So we learn our history with all the data that we collect, and then we predict or we assess the future. And to do this thing across the journey, we have this many tools starting from operational data to the data visualization, right? And our main target is to visualize the data and now start with the data warehousing, right? Now for this one, I just want to take a small example, right? I'm just taking one simple shape of database. This is the shape that represents a databases, right? Now, during the early stage, what it is like that we are going to have one system. Say I'm having my laptop. All the business use it to capture their day-to-day transactions, right? Today sales are happening, so we are going to have a table, right? When we say table, this is the classic symbol of the table, right? Whenever we want to represent, we use this shape, right? And if I want to represent this as a house, that you can say database is like our house, Within our house, these individual tables are like rooms, right? We know, right? We divide our house into multiple rooms: living room, bedroom, kitchen, hall, so that based on the activities that we perform, we use that room. For sleeping, it is bedroom. For preparing the food and everything, we go to the kitchen, just to make sure we organize the things so that whenever we want them, we can easily retrieve them, right? Similarly, within the database, we are going to have a sales table that captures all the sales information, employee table that is going to have the employee, customer table like that we are going to have, right? Now, over the period of time, we are making all this, I mean, we are capturing this information, right? So over the period of time, people has realized, okay, that we can use this data and analyze this data, and we can come up with some insights about what is happening within our organization. So now they started analyzing the data by writing some complex SQL queries, where Xiaomi told that someone told that they are part of the what is that one? Fraud, for anti-fraud team, right? So what happened over a period of time, when our business grows, both the transactional and analytical things doing on the same database resulted in the performance degradation, right? Because the capacity of the server is same size, but along with the day-to-day transactional activities, we are also focusing on analytical analysis on that one, right? So this has resulted in performance degradation. Now, whenever we have a problem, that helps to get new ideas, right? So whenever we are seeing this performance, then it is realized, okay, let us do one thing. Just use this system only for the operational purpose. Your day-to-day activities, capture what are all the day-to-day activities happening, capture all the observations, right? And once your business ends, take a copy of what are all the new entries that we got in the database and put it in another database, and use the second database for analytical purpose. So here where we got the concept of data warehousing, right? If you see, I hope you heard the word about warehouses in the industries, right? Where they keep the raw material. At the same time, they use the warehouses for the finished goods, right? If the demand is low, then they keep all these finished goods in the warehouse. When there is a demand, high demand, then they release the market so that they can gain the profits, right? Similarly, since we are keeping a copy of our operational data separately in a database, and we are going to use that for analytical purpose, we are calling it as analytical data warehousing or analytical systems, right? Now to show you this one in a pictorial representation, let me get one nice image, pictures online, data warehouse, right? A simple straightforward picture for your easy understanding, right? And there is a new picture it seems to be added. I will come to this one again. Let me get both of them. Did I get only one image? Mhm. Okay. I want to use the below one later. Right? This is one of the classical example. Hide quick ribbon. Okay. Yeah. So whatever we discussed, right, on the left side, operational systems, it can be a database that is storing the HR data, or marketing team have their own databases for their analysis, right? And at the end of the business day, we are going to take a copy into the staging layer, right? So considering this particular block is dealing with the online transaction, we call it as online transactional processing systems. So we call it as OLTP, right? Merge and center. Control Z. I think I just need to merge few more, right? This one. Now, as we know that doing both analytical and transactional processing on the same databases, we are seeing a performance issues. So we take a copy of entire transactional systems, right? So today we have 100 new records are added. Today evening we copied that one and put it into the warehouse, right? Tomorrow another 10 records are added. So since yesterday we already copied the 100 records, so today what we are going to do is the additional 10 records which are came into the operational system, those information is pulled into the warehouse, right? So this warehouse is going to act as a raw data. Say you have 100 days, I mean over a period of time, we completed 3 months. So in the warehouse, we are going to have these 3 months of data in the raw data format. So that is stay. So in case in future someone comes for a regulatory purpose, or if you want to do an analysis over your historical data, you can refer to this raw data, right? At the same time, we maintain a summarized data. Say, what is our daily sales? What is our weekly sales, monthly sales? So we aggregate the data and create one table that stores this aggregated information also, right? At the same time, we also store metadata. So metadata means information about what kind of data you are storing, right? Let me take a classical example. So the governments, right? Clearly provide some guidelines. So if you are taking some customer data like their personal information, that you should be telling to the government for what purpose you are using that data. And it is within the guidelines that the government has provided. Say taking a banking system where we are going to have a strict guidelines. So when you take your customer income information, right? Their loans information, their debt information, that this is not supposed to expose beyond the requirement that they have taken. And how we are going to prove that one? By maintaining this metadata information. So if a government organization comes and says, okay, tell me for what purpose you are using your customer information that you collected, that we would be referring this metadata table and going to answer their queries, right? Since we are using this warehouse as an analytical purpose, right? We are calling it as online analytical systems, processing systems, OLAP, right? So are you clear with the OLTP and OLAP? And also the reason that why this data warehousing comes into exist, or data analysis, right? Or data mining, whatever we say, right? The first goal comes is, okay, get a copy from the operational systems, put it in the databases or cloud or wherever it may be, and start analyzing your work, right? With the help of the tools that we are having or we are in expert. Is it clear now? Data warehousing. And if I show you some theoretical points, let me show you what Amazon says. So we have picked it. See, a data warehouse is a central repository of information that can be analyzed to make informed decisions. That's what we're discussing, right? Data flows into data warehouse from transactional systems, relational databases, and other source systems, right? Business analyst, data engineers, data scientist. If you see all these terminologies, decision makers, right? Whatever the tool that you are going to use, your role would be changing. Either you can be business analyst, data engineer, or data scientist. If I am using machine learning tools, then I call it as a data scientist, right? But it requires a lot of analytical, right, statistical analysis and all those things, right? Our Power BI is going to be simple to use, and it's a kind of a easy to enter into the IT world. Access the data through BI tools, SQL clients. Data and analytics have become indispensable to business to stay competitive. Business users rely on reports, dashboard, analytical tools to extract insights from their data, monitor performance, and support decision making, right? So if you see this article is from AWS, Amazon, right? Power BI is also having an article similar kind of it, but what I feel is that this article is best, I mean, having a best explanation. So that is the reason I picked and I'm going to share it with you, right? And I'm just going to the high level topics. Benefits of data warehousing, informed decision making, right? Since we are going to have a history of the data, right? That we are going to summarize it and watch it, how my business is running. So that will helps me to take informed decision. Consolidate data from many sources, right? If you see in this example, we are going to have different sources from different departments, right? And we are going to consolidate at one place. So single point, single place. Historical data analysis, yes, I'm going to maintain my raw data so I can have historical data analysis. Quality, consistency, and accuracy. This is one of the thing very important, right? So when we say daily, whatever the changes happen that we are capturing, so that is then it is very important that we are maintaining a consistency in data collection. Suppose due to whatever the reason, if 1 or 2 days of data missing, then we may have the incorrect reports, right? So the data, acquiring the data should be consistent, quality should be maintained, and it should be accurate. That is matching with the operational transactions. Separation of analytical process from transactional database, which improves performance of both the systems, right? This is what we learn. Data warehouse, databases, and data lakes, right? I want to say a simple thing, right? Whenever you heard the warehouse, right? The name warehouse in the industries, right? We know whatever the products or items, those are kept in the warehouse, they would be in the organized way, correct? Each one are going to have a separate space and shelves would be there and you are having clearly written on that one. Say electronics goods are stored in this rack, groceries are stored in this racks. So that's wherever we are storing organizedly, we term it as a warehouse aggregated. Databases, they are like a basic building blocks like our house that helps to store or hold the data. Similarly, when it comes to the data lake, right, some technologies are providing capabilities to store files, unstructured data, right? That means images. And if you see online charting, Twitter, Facebook, all these things, right? Someone post a chart and on top of it, many other people repost it, right? It won't be in an organized way, right? So the data lake technologies helps us to store data that is in structured, unstructured or semi-structured. When we say semi-structured, like images, or you would be having files with a lot of information. These are semi-structured, right? Unstructured means again like online tweets, feedbacks, right? Posts that are going to come, all these things, right? And I would request you to please go through this article in detail so that that will give you a basic understanding about the data warehousing, right? I think there is a question came, at what stage is data cleansing or scrubbing implemented to ensure that we have the required relevant and up-to-date data, right? So Chiami, the answer to this question is at what stage data to be cleansing, okay? What all the data engineers or scientists say that when we are collecting the data, we need to make sure uh, the data quality is maintained at most level, right? Whatever we can do. Suppose if I'm collecting a customer information in the operational systems, right? I would be contacting a customer, he would be filling his application, right? If I have the a quality of data at that point of time, then there is no need to do a rework again and again. Okay. Suppose if you send a half-filled application to the data warehousing systems, we won't be able to get an insights. That means again we need to go to the front end teams and ask, hey, this customer information is not accurate. So can you please contact that customer again and get the details from him, right? So the best thing is to make sure at the data capture, data collection level, we are maintaining maximum controls so that we get the right level of information. But again, all the systems won't be 100% accurate, correct? There would be some loopholes. So at analytical systems also, we need to apply some cleansing activities. Is it answers, Chiomi, your question? Chiomi? Okay. Now, let me see WH and Ralph Kimball, right? Now, when we say, when it comes to the data warehousing, right? So we have two great scientists who has proposed the concepts, what concept that we need to follow, right? So Ralph Kimball and Edmond are the two great scientists like Newton, right? How Newton has proposed it. Now Kimball and Edmond has proposed uh, solutions like how to organize this data warehouse. Since they proposed it, they have kept their name, right? Now what they told, let me show you one image, right? So what Kimball has proposed is create a data mart, right? Data mart is itself a data warehouse, right? But it's a subset of data warehouse. Now what Kimball has proposed, since you are going to have different source systems, like if you see, take any organization, right? That is going to have HR department, finance department, right? Marketing department, and production department. So these are different departments, right? Now what Kimball has suggested is create a data warehouse or data mart. If it is a subset of data warehouse, then we call it as data mart. But a data mart is also identical like a data warehouse. All the features that data warehouse are going to have, data mart is going to have, right? Now what he suggested is create data mart for each and every department, right? A HR data mart, sales data mart, manufacturing data mart. Now integrate everything into the single data warehouse, right? So this is like if you see in your Scrum, right? What Scrum tells is that, okay, if you have a big problem, just try to break into actionable items, right? And start implementing one by one. That's what he is proposing. You are having a very bigger thing. Lot of systems are there. Let us don't take the headache of getting everything at one place and start building it, right? Start with the iterative manner so that you can create a data mart for sales and get the reporting layer done. And end users are going to work on those reports. And if everything looks good, yes, start with the second system. That's what Kimball has proposed. What is the benefits of Kimball is that whatever we discussed, setup and builds are quickly because we are working with small blocks. Generating reports against multiple schema is very successful since we know that each and everything's database operations are very effective. Occupies less space in database and manages easy. That's what Kimball says. Now, when it comes to the Inmon, now what Inmon has proposed is just the vice versa of Kimball. Now, what he is saying is get all the systems at one place, create a data warehouse at the enterprise level, right? That means at the top head office level, right? I don't want multiple small blocks separately created, right? Get all the systems at one place, and within the entire organization, if someone says that, hey, I want this data, then I can tell them, yes, I have my central data warehousing or enterprise data warehousing. We also could term it as EDP. Now you can take the data from here, right? So a one place for entire all your systems, and once your data warehouse is built, that you can have individual data mart copies or a views created on top of it that can be used for reporting for each and every department. Say marketing department want to know how their marketing campaign worked, right? Similarly, finance department want to know where the expenses are going on or where the income is coming, right? And finance department main focus is how the expense to income ratio is there, all these things. Correct? That is what Inmon proposed. So what you suggest, which one is good? Kimball or Inmon? Or shall we see how what is the comparative chart for both of them? I hope you got a basic understand with these images that I have shown you. So can you tell me which one you feel the best? Kimball or Inmon? Okay, fine. Both are best. That is the reason we are learning them, right? No one is outdated. Even my organization is going with Inmon because they want to make sure all the systems are sitting at one place, right? For the analytical purpose. Now let us see their advantages and disadvantages, right? So introduced by Ralph Kimball, that's why it is having Kimball, and introduced by Bill Inmon, it's Inmon. Approach, it is a bottom-up approach, right? So in the Kimball, we would be building data marts for each and every department, and then we are integrating all together. So it's a bottom-up approach. Whereas Inmons is a top-down approach. At the enterprise level, we are building and we are distributing them. Data integration happens at the individual business areas, right? Each business area has its own data mart. So integration happens at the individual. It focus on enterprise wide warehouse, right? Enterprise wide area at the top level. Build time, it is efficient and take less time. Yes, we know because we are starting with small blocks. It is complex and consumes a lot of time, right? Obviously, we are trying to build everything at one place. It has a iterative steps and cost effective. Initial cost is huge, right? Because we need to pull everyone together. So that means a lot of planning, right? Lot of organization investment is needed. And the development cost is low. I think this is the benefit. Once you have the plan ready, I mean, then development cost would be low. It does not need such skill, but a generic team will do the job, right? Yes, single team like sales team who has expertise on the sales understanding, they can do that one. Similarly, marketing department, say a person who has understanding about how marketing business works, he can do it, right? But it needs a specialized skill to make work, right? How can we integrate all these departments, right? How these departments coordinate with each other? What is the commonalities between the department? So to know all these things, right, you need a specialized team. That is the reason initial cost is also huge, right? Yes, you are right. Xiaomi Kimball is like a agile approach. Yeah. Maintenance is difficult, right? So I think Kimball has a negative point in the maintenance, right? The reason because is you would be having multiple data marts. Say if you take this example, you may have a customer table in the sales department, and at the same time you would be having customer department in the marketing department, right? That means we may duplicate same kind of tables in multiple data marts. Now whenever we are trying to get all those together, then we may have some redundant or duplicate data going to happen, right? Here maintenance is easy, right? So in Mon, since we are going to get all the departments at one place, I will say, boss, employee information is supposed to capture in all the departments. So let me create one employee table. Similarly, customers would be common across all the departments. So let me create one customer table, right? So similarly, when we say enterprise, it will focus on the entities or people level segment level, right? And if you see here in the data model, it prefers data to be denormalized model, right? So the Kimball's approach is denormalized, whereas Inmon approach is a normalized model, right? Now, I hope this denormalize and normalize concept is something new topic, right? You are hearing. Will you agree with me? Or have you heard about, who has heard about these keywords normalize and denormalize? Kimball is using denormalize and Inmon is using normalized approach, right? So I just want to know yes or no. If you all say yes, I will just go at a high level, but I am looking an answer. And if you know yes, what you know about normalize? Okay, guys, we need another 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that one. Okay, as we know, we got a good Q&A section also in between. So please be with me for another 15 minutes, not max to that one. Hmm? Now let us see what it mean by denormalize and normalize. So for this one, I have prepared some data with me, right? So I have a sales table, right? That is storing the information in the denormalized form and in the normalized form, right? So the second one is in the normalized form and the first one is in the denormalized form. Now what it mean by? Say if we are storing all the information related to a particular transactions in one place, right? All the detailed information in single table, then we call it as a denormalized form. Okay. Say Harish has purchased a mobile. Similarly, Harish is going to do few more transaction in that particular store, right? So every time I do a transaction, they are capturing my name, complete address, right? At the same time, further more details about the products I am purchasing. The benefit of this one is since everything is lying in one table, so if you want the information, so you can quickly retrieve the data, right? Just think on logically. If you keep all your items at one place, whenever you need them, you can quickly go and pull them, right? What is the disadvantage here is if you see Harish information is being stored repeatedly. Now think of it if I am a regular visitor of that store. In a month, if I visit that store 15 times, then they are going to store my address 15 times. In a year, 15 multiplied by 12. Just going in a on an approximate numbers. Similarly, if there are 1,000 customers visit that store regularly, repeatedly, right? So their information is being stored multiple times, right? So what the problem with denormalize is they are storing the redundant information multiple times, which means we need to put more money on getting more space, right? Because in organization to store this but information we need to have disks, right? But in turn, is it really going to benefit for the business? No, because we are storing a redundant information, right? So then there is a thought came, okay, why I need to store customer address every time? So I decided, okay, I will create a table called customer table, right? Say, or customer address table, right? And I'm going to store customer address information in this particular table. So whoever the customers visiting, I'm going to store their data at one time here, right? And whenever a customer visit, I'm going to refer his unique ID in my sales table, right? So instead of storing entire customer address, I'm just using a customer address table, and at one shot I'm going to store Harish address or Michael address, and I'm going to give a unique number for this one, like a unique identifier, right? If you take a college, right? We are whenever a student join it, he will get a roll number, right? That is going to be unique number for him. And while his marks, results, and everything, people are going to use this unique number, right? Instead of again referring to all the custom student information. Same thing applies. Now, benefit I'm going to get is if I'm going with a denormalize, if I need 100 GB of space, now when I'm going with a normalized form, then hardly I need 10 GB. That means we are exponentially reducing our data usage and we are storing data smartly, right? So Inmon has proposed this one. So data would be stored in multiple tables, right? Based on the entities or organization, right? Similarly, if you see the customer address table here, we know, right? Each customer is going to have a city name, state name, and everything. And within the city, if you have 1 million, do I really write the entire city name? No, I will give a unique ID. So the benefit of this is I can use this city table further in the sales transaction, customer transaction, or employees table also, right? So wherever we know that a particular information need to be used repeatedly, then we create a table for it, right? And we are going to refer that one in our main table, right? And we create a relation between these two tables, right? So the concept of storing data in multiple tables, right? With a logical relation, guys, keep in mind with a logical relation. Now, how this tail table and customer table are related is with respect to the address ID column, right? I can't go connect with the customer ID or product ID, right? Here sales table and customer table are connected with the address ID column. Similarly, as you know, right, the product names, different customers purchase the same product, correct? Product name. So I am going to create a product table for this one. See here. Now this particular sales table is going to be connected with the product table with the product ID, right? So the process of storing data in multiple tables in a logical splitting is called a normalization, right? But if we are storing this entire data in one table, then we call it as a denormalization, correct? So normalization has a added benefit. Now, if I show the representation of this particular concept in a diagram, let me get that particular article in front of you. You would be more interested. And this article, I pulled it from Power BI itself because that is the best which I feel. If you see here, where is this one? Yeah, this image I want to show, right? We have a sales table. Here in the Excel sheet, you have seen the sales table, right? It is going to store unique IDs of the transaction ID, product ID, customer ID, and what is the metrics. I mean, how much quantity, what is the price and cost and date, right? And whenever you want further more details, that this sales table, suppose if need product information in detail, it will goes to the products table. And if it needs the employee who has done the sales, it will be referring to the employee table and date, right? So since it looks like a star, we call it as a star schema. Okay. And the center one, we call it as a fact table. So a fact table stores like a transactions, observations, right? Numerical values. And the supporting tables, we call them as a dimensions. If you heard about the word, hey, what are the dimensions? Right? This is general term was. Similarly, for this fact table, if you want to know what are the dimensions here, the product, sales, employees, and these dimensions are going to have a detailed information about the entities, persons, organizations, right? And dimension tables are used for filtering, and these fact tables are used for aggregations. Say you want to know what is the total sales happened, what is the total cost, right? How many transactions are done, aggregations. Similarly, if you want to filter out, okay, what are the purchases done by Harish, what are the purchases done by Michael, or what is the total sales with respect to the laptop, what are the total sales happened for the mobile. So for filtering, dimensions are used, right? And also I just want to show you, see, star schema is a mature modeling approach widely adopted by relational data warehouse. It requires modelers to classify their model tables either dimensions or facts. Dimension table describes business entities, right? Can include products, people, places, concepts. Most consists of table you will fill star schema, right? A dimension table consists of key column that acts as a unique identifier and other columns supporting filter and group by order. Now, if I apply the same thing, a dimension is table is going to have a key column that is going to represent the uniqueness of the customer and more information about these user for filters, right? Fact table stores observation or events. When you say events, a transactions, right? Observations, it can be a weather report, right? Or it can be a stock changes, all those things, temperatures. Fact table contains dimension key columns that relates to dimension table. Just make a note of is this one, dimension key columns, right? If you see here, these are all the key columns from the dimension tables that provides a relationship, and dimension key column determines the dimensionality of the fact table while the dimension key values determines granularity of the fact, right? The same thing. To understand some star concept described, so you have a clear article, see here. So a normalized table with product key, and a denormalized table is going to have all the information. Now if you see product key, product, category, color and size, so these are all going to be repeated, right? And if you see this point, star schema design and many related concepts introduced in the articles are highly relevant to developing Power BI models that are optimized for performance and usability, right? So even though these star and fact dimensions are a data warehouse concept, but our Power BI also uses this one because in the current world, it is hard to represent all our business within one table. We would be having need to have multiple tables. Those are distributed as a form of star schema, right? There is no table property that model set to set the table by dimension on fact, right? There is one interesting point. A well-structured model design includes tables that are either dimension tables or fact tables. Avoid mixing the two types together for a single table. See, it's saying don't mix them. And if you see here in the dimension table, suppose if I have a customer, I would be having one unique record for the customer that have his personal information, address information. Whereas it comes to the sales, you can have multiple records. So this terminology, this star, one to star is called as one to many. Okay. So the basic thumb rule for fact and dimension tables is it maintains a one to many relation. Okay. It can't be vice versa. Like it is important to understand that optimal model design is part of science and part of art. Sometimes you can break the good guidance when it makes sense to do, right? Similarly, how to create all these things. Okay. A detailed explanation is there with respect to Snowflake, right? Now, if you take this example, right, we have the customer address, and further what we realize is, okay, city ID or information to the related to city and state are being repeated because we are going to have population, all right, hundreds case of population in the same city. So we create a further another dimension table that is going to be referred by the customer address dimension. So parent, child, grandchild, right? So if you have multi-level relation, then we call it as a snowflake example. A snowflake dimension is set to normalize table for a single business entity, right? So further, if a dimension table is referring another one, say category, subcategory, and within the subcategory you have the products. So in this way, a fact table is representing a product. Now within the product you have a subcategory and category. So whenever you have multiple relation, then we call it as a snowflake. See? And this article has a very nice pictorial representations also, right? Say in our example, we have a sales table, address table, city table, state table. Whereas you've considered product, again within the product, you know, right? Products would be having subcategories and categories. So you have a unique table for subcategory and category. So this is called snowflake. So snowflake is a form, right? So the important thing you need to know about star schema and snowflake schema, right? Isha, we are done. Last 5 minutes to wrap up, huh? Saru, YouTube channel, I mean, this is recorded and I'm going to share the link and I'm going to, you can see that YouTube channel also. Just share me your Gmail ID, phone number, so that I can share you the details. Okay, Saru? That, that's it about the normalization and denormalization. Further, we commit into the facts and dimensions, right? So if you see, as a part of data warehousing, we covered introduction, OLTP, OLEP, Inmon and Ralph Kimball. And when we go to the Inmon and Ralph Kimball, we have seen star and snowflake. From there, we seen normalize and denormalize, right? And dimensions and fact tables. So coming back, data source systems in source systems are highly stable because since we are building at each and every department, adding new systems within the department is less frequent. But when you take at the enterprise level, definitely on a sudden we get a new department and they will say, okay, we need to incorporate a new system because this is a new requirement to the organization, right? Okay. So just a closure comments, right? Today we covered about the data warehousing. This is going to be the building block. Whether you use Power BI, Tableau, any AI tool, machine learning tool, these basics are not going to change. Okay. And whoever are strong in these basics, so they don't have a confusion when they are analyzing the data. So you got a database and they will ask, hey, here is the data, start reporting, start working, creating a visualization, right? So when you know these basic fundamentals, how best data will be organized, then you can easily correlate. Okay, there are 7 tables in the database, right? And each table is having this kind of information that is being stored and they are correlated. You would be having a relational images also. I'm going to show you that in the Power BI, right? So that it would be easy for us. And just remember, whatever we are learning in the first class, we are going to recall these things when we start on next topics. Okay. So let me stop today's class. Tomorrow we are going to start with the PostgreSQL introduction and learning how to install a database, right? So that it will give us more confidence. And then we will work on with the GUI and command line. GUI means graphical user interface. Okay, I'm going to store. So let me pause the recording.